Starting slow and easy today.
Oh, suits me. Just having coffee.
Yeah, we're catching Graham at 7 a.m. in the morning in the UK. So we're bringing him in the mood slowly today.
I feel like I need to go back to sleep. Go on.
Okay. Well, I'll
Wake me up.
something upbeat later. Lazy Money Machine podcast, Graham Brown, Erik ten Have. We're all about freestyle, about lifestyle design. Freestyle is lifestyle design, passive income, how to design the life you want and make sure, you never have to work a day in your life anymore. Or work on the stuff that you really like. So that's what we usually talk about while the door rings. And today we are going to listen to an inspiring guy. I'm sure you know him, actually. I think Nick Vujicic.
Oh, yeah.
I hope I pronounced his name correctly. Bit of context for those of you who don't know him. Try to Google him on YouTube. He's a guy that was born without arms, without legs, and only one foot. And he has turned his life to become, a motivational speaker, basically. That's what he does. And an evangelist. Evangelist, is that what you call it? Evangelist, that's what it is. And he's amazing. And I found a clip that I want to listen to.
So many people put me down and say, Nick, you look too weird and no one's really offended. And you can't do this and you can't do that. And I couldn't change anything. It's not like just fixing my hair one day and everything's fine. It's not like, just whatever. I couldn't change my circumstance. I couldn't just one day wake up and say, hey, give me arms and legs. I need arms and legs. You know what I mean? Like, I went to a bodybuilder, and said, can you make me some arms and legs? No joking. Bodybuilder, you get it? Right? So here's the thing. I go up to people, can you give me a hand? Just joking. But it was so hard because people put me down. And I started believing that I was not good enough. I started believing that I was a failure. That I'll never ever be somebody who people would like or people would accept. And it was so hard, man. I thought to myself, I can't go on the soccer field like everybody else, and I can't ride my bike, and I can't skateboard, and all these sort of things. And I started getting depressed. I thought, what kind of purpose do I have to live? I mean, are you just here to live to die? I mean, is there not a purpose for me? Is there not a purpose in life? And I had questions and no answers. And I asked my mum and dad, why did this happen? I asked doctors, why did this happen? They don't know. There are some things in life that are out of your control that you can't change and you got to live with. The choice that we have, though, is either to give up or keep on going. I want to ask you, what are you going to believe? Are you going to believe in yourself? Are you going to believe everybody else's judgment on you? Are you going to believe people when they say that you're a failure? Well, no one really likes you. No one really cares about you. And it's not really to say that, hey, you need someone to come up and say, hey, really, I like you, I care about you. No, it's not that. But it's the fact that people put you down. People don't even look you in the eye. People ask you how you are, and you say fine, but you're not fine, and they'll never know that.
Nick Vujicic. Amazing guy. And this clip talks about believing in yourself and who do you choose to believe? Who do you choose to believe and how do you look at things that are out of your control? So that's the core of his message. Yeah? Believe in yourself and don't listen to the things that are, or don't pay attention to the things that are out of your control. Now I know we're getting a bit into the the motivational speakers arena with our audio clips. But the good thing about that is they usually have very interesting things to say, which could be a good starting point for our talk. So when I listen to this and when I listen to Nick, I realize that is something that personally I'm sometimes quite weak at as well, to focus too much on the stuff that's out of my control. And instead what I should do is rekindle my belief to figure things out, right? To trust that I figured things out, for the last 46 years. So if adversity strikes, I'll be able to figure things out again for the future. And that I think that's a very important thing for me. And the main thing I think is that I want to stay in this lifestyle. I do not want to change and have to change to go back to a job. And that's my main motivation. Somewhere I heard that, you know, I'm working. You're working for freedom, right? I'm working for the fact that I want to maintain this way of living, and therefore, you know, I need to believe in myself to be able to continue doing this.
As well, there's an interesting part that what you said, Erik, and I'll come back to Nick in a minute, is that you don't want to go back to the salaried lifestyle. And you put yourself in the situation now where you're out there talking about it. So you're committed now, aren't you? You can't go out there and talk about being the lazy money guy or the lazy money machine guy and then go back, you know, well, whatever happened to that guy? Oh, yeah, no, he went back and got a job.
Yeah.
You can't do that because now you're committed. And I think of people like Nick is with the unpronounceable name. I think it's something like Vujicic. I know it's anyway, doesn't matter. I think what's interesting about him is that when he stands up on stage and commits to that lifestyle, he has to make it work now, doesn't he? Because if he was to stand up there and say, you know, I'm the guy without any arms and legs, and, you know, I've been dealt a pretty crappy a hand of cards, right?
Yes.
He has to make it work, doesn't he? Because otherwise people just go, well, who the hell's that guy? He was rubbish. He has to stand up there and it has to work, and he's committed. And I think, you know, I think of myself as well. It's like if I go and do something, like I'm going to do something in life, like I'm going to do an Ironman, I tell people, or I'm going to give up smoking, I tell people. I did give up smoking many years ago, by the way. I think that you're committed, aren't you? So I like this idea about commitment to something, because then it makes you a better person because you're in public doing this. And you've just done that, I think, by saying that. And you are doing it by doing this podcast. And I think Nick did it and I'm doing it. And I just wonder if that's something that we can all do.
Right. Making public commitments to the stuff you want to achieve.
Possibly, yeah, something. Without doing it for the sake of, I mean, in that sort of motivational speaker arena, as you call it, there's a lot of dangerous commitments there, isn't there? It's like, you know, you've done Tony Robbins, I've done Tony Robbins. There's a lot of people in that scene who sort of thrive on that, but more of a sort of a, you know, it's more of a statement rather than a real commitment to something. Not knocking Tony, I think he's wonderful, but I'm just talking about the people around that scene.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. And I think sharing your goals with others achieves two things. It achieves the buy-in of the people you're talking to, like your family and your the people close to you. They are aligned. They know what you want to do. But I think committing or making them public to strangers creates like you said, like it's like an undercurrent of sort of pressure that you're building up for yourself, positive pressure to actually go and deliver on it. I remember early this year when we got really serious about writing Lazy Money Machine. I started talking to people and I was telling them, you know, before my holidays, I'm going to have the book done. And that was like a couple of months out. And they said, what? You're going to write a book in a couple of months? And we actually had it done before I left on my holidays in July. We published it right after. Because making that commitment puts like pressure on myself on actually delivering. And I think that's really good. And yeah, like Nick says, you know, you have to really believe in yourself to then make it work and not doubt yourself. You know, doubting yourself is energy that's spent on not achieving anything, I think.
Do you I wonder, I mean, go back to that bit about when you said that you told people you were writing a book and then you got the book done. I mean, that's a book, anybody who's sort of embarked on that journey will know that a book can take anywhere between 2 months and 2 lifetimes, right?
Yes.
It can go on forever. And many people are writing books but don't get them done. But you went and told people about it and you got it done. I wonder if that was the motivating factor as well, because we talked about belief in yourself when you sort of introduced Nick in this podcast, Nick Vujicic. And I think that is fine. I think that's really good to believe in yourself, but sometimes that's not enough, isn't it? Sometimes you have to have that fear of failure, that positive stress, if you like, to make it happen. I think that's how I function. And I sort of go back to things like, you know, my Ironman training. Mm-hmm. I had to have that to make it work. I had to have the fear of not finishing or the fear of telling everybody about this thing I was doing and then not getting to the start line.
Yeah.
That made, because I believed, I had this thing that I wanted to do in life. I wanted to achieve this lifetime goal of doing the Ironman. But I think at the end of the day, one of the biggest factors was not finishing and telling people, yeah, I fucked up.
Yeah. It's very powerful. Making commitments outside yourself and in public. That's also important. You can tell 5 family members, but that's different than recording a Facebook video and putting it out there. I mean, that's completely different to, because people will then ask you about, say, hey, you're writing this book. How's that going? No, I put it on hold. I mean, that's a bad story to tell. And I think you were a major factor in this whole thing. I mean, I've credited you for that before, but just the attitude of just getting it done is really important, especially for these long, lingering projects like a book. We went at that and said, okay, let's just find a way to write this thing in a couple of months. And it is possible. It is definitely possible.
Yeah.
So I think that's, a few notes on believing in yourself, not focusing too much on the stuff that's out of your own control, and making public commitments. And we'll see you guys in the next episode.